I'm ready to go to sleep.
My name is Mike Jimenez. This is the Alamo City Sportscast coming at you from the Alamo City, San Antonio, Texas, home of the UTSA Roadrunner, home of the Spurs, Coyote, Tim, Tony, Manu, and all those guys. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Joe Garcia produced today's show. Gonna be honest. By the way, I need you to turn on the chat, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
Gonna be honest. I need a pick-me-up today. I need some Red Bull. I don't drink coffee, Joe, but this is the day to do it. I did an 18-hour work day yesterday, 16 hours of work. And then when you include the podcast and everything that we did with it, I worked 18 hours and didn't turn off my laptop till 2:30 in the morning. And I was up at 6 a.m. getting my kids ready for school. Dude, I am dragging ass today. Dragging ass. But we're going to have a good show because that's what we do around here. We talk sports, we talk pop culture, we talk nostalgia. And if you want to be part of the show, you can be part of our YouTube stream. We're exclusive on YouTube, inching closer to 750 subscribers. I believe we're at 744. Last I saw.
6 away, brother.
6 away. We're getting there. By the way, we're going to have a giveaway next week that I need to talk to you about. Something that got donated to our show. I found that to be very interesting. Lots to get into today, as always. We're going to have Carolina Teague, Chooses with Teague.
Yeah,
she'll be on today a little bit later than normal. She's got to get her face on, right? She's wasn't ready right now, so we're going to get her on at 11 o'clock. Again, you can be part of the stream. We have our stream going on right now. The best comments get picked out. QR code top left if you want to buy us a coffee. Keeps the show going. We see all the things that Joe does around here, all the technology, all the different cameras and lights. And when you buy us a coffee, it doesn't pay our CPS bill. It doesn't pay saws. It doesn't pay our mortgage. What it does is it keeps the show going because the technology is needed. Thank you so much for all of our subscribers and for following us. And thank you for sharing what we do with other people. So what are we going to talk about today? Well, first of all, yesterday we may have had the dunk of the year.
Really?
Anthony Edwards
I saw.
had one of the most epic throwdowns of all time. So bad of a play that both players, the person who made the dunk and the person who got dunked on, both got injured.
Oh, God.
We'll talk about that. We need to get into the defensive player of the year. I was talking to Chris Leha from MCS General Contracting yesterday. He came by my house because they're going to start doing work over there in the next couple of weeks. And we were talking about Wemby being defensive player of the year and the fact that Chris actually bought a ticket at 25-1 odds, months ago, that Wemby would win. Well, one of the voters, a very popular writer named Bill Simmons, says that he doesn't even think that Wemby should be considered for defensive player of the year. And is he going to leave him off the ballot altogether? Bill Simmons famously left Jaren Jackson Jr. off the ballot for defensive player of the year when he was one of the rising stars on defense. So Ryan Russillo, who was going back and forth with Bill Simmons, brought up a very interesting point that I want to get into when it comes to how do you focus on a player like Wemby, an excellent player on a historically bad team. So we'll have to talk about that as well. Dak Prescott restructured his deal, saved the Cowboys $4 million in cap space.
It's pocket change, man.
My Saints got a good player last night, by the way, so we'll get into that as well. The Batty brackets continue, and already controversy brewing because one of our listeners pointed out the fact that one of our contestants broke the rules and may not qualify based on the rules that we set forth
OnlyFans
earlier. Yeah, what happens if they have an OnlyFans?
Vámonos pa' fuera.
So, but, and she does have a butt. Okay, but we are going to need to debate this because I think that there might be a loophole somewhere in this. But man, a big show today. Again, if you want to be part of the show, you can leave us a chat, leave us a message there. Someone says that Mike needs a drink from Mudslingers. That's Tim Gonzalez.
Yeah,
I need that Wemby drink. That Wemby drink from Mudslingers. They've been good to the Alamo City Podcast Network. That Wemby drink, the green drink that has a lot of Red Bull. Dude, I'm dragging ass.
Hey, we need to go make a visit over to Mudslingers.
Dude, I have a gift card. Let's make this happen.
We should. Hey, the little donuts that they have there.
No
they're
joke.
good,
The salted caramel ones. No
Good,
joke.
man.
Dude, okay. Before we get into sports, have you ever seen those episodes or those Reddits or TikToks where they say, "Am I an a-hole if?"
If.
Right? So it's when you think something and you have to question yourself as to whether or not you think you're being a jerk or not. So I was thinking about this last night, and tell me if I'm a jerk or not. Okay. I mentioned I had an 18-hour workday yesterday. I did take some time off in the evening to go work out at the gym for a little while. Right. So I went and lifted weights, been trying to get back in shape. I've been lifting. Right. So I go to Planet Fitness, and Planet Fitness has, obviously all the treadmills and ellipticals and Stairmasters, and then they have all the machines and the free weights, right? So if you've ever been to a Planet Fitness,
yeah.
But in the middle of Planet Fitness, there's an area there called the 45-minute workout. It says 30, but really when you do the math, it's 45 minutes. And what it is, it's 10 stations, and it has 10 blocks that you're supposed to do cardio on. So you can do step-ups. You can jump over them, do them as box jumps, whatever the case may be. And there's a red light and a green light that flashes like a traffic light. And when it's green, you go. When it's red, you move to the next station. So each station has like a seated bench press. It has a leg press. It has, lat pull downs, has, curls and different things like that. Right.
Yeah.
But they say over there that the only people that can use those 10 machines are the ones who are doing that particular workout. So when I got there around 7:00 last night, I was the only person in that area. Right.
Yeah.
So I felt good. I was like, all right, man, I'm working out, doing my thing. But the gym was packed. And then all of a sudden, all these girls who, they're very attractive, started using all the machines, but they weren't using them as part of that 30 to 45-minute workout. And they have a sign there that says that they come by and they check it out to make sure that people are actually doing that workout and not just using the machines. What I think is going on is they have all these girls who don't want to be around all the other guys and are using that as the woman's part of the gym when it's really part of a circuit training type of thing. Tim Gonzalez saying Mike Jimenez at the gym trying to bring his sexy back. Baby, it never went away.
Oh, God.
It never went away.
Your project, was it F and Cute?
F and
still
Cute,
on?
still on. But it was pissing me off because I'm giving look. So you have these stations, right, where you go from machine 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way to number 10. And because these girls were coming in and starting to use it, and again, they weren't doing the system, they were just doing their reps, dude. And some of the girls were just using it just to sit down. That was pissing me off. So I would look at it and I would do machine number 1. And then I would look at what's available. Oh, machine 9's open. Okay, so then I would go and do my cardio portion. Green light, go to number 9. Green light, go to number 6. So basically, I'm not doing them in order. I'm doing them based on what's available, trying to knock out all 10 machines.
Yeah.
Now, when it got down to the last 3, they were taken by people who were not using it. And am I the a-hole if I just stood over the machine like, move? Sorry, 95-pound girl, young lady. You're not doing this whole rotation.
Did you at least say,
I am.
Excuse me, can I use this machine? Because I'm
No, I had my AirPods on and I just looked.
Bro, that's fucking rude as shit.
And they got up and moved and they went to the other machine. And ultimately, but then again, you have the 10 boxes there that show that you're doing cardio. So you do box jumps on them and all that stuff. And there are signs everywhere saying that this is for a circuit workout. And that's why the green light, red light's on. It's specified for that.
I understand that, man, but people.
So
don't
I have to go,
rules.
but you are on a clock.
I got you, man.
You were on a clock. So when I look, so I did the 7 machines in a different order. I went 1, 2, 7, 9, 5, 8. I'm bouncing around, but am I the jerk to look at her and go? I didn't even say anything. I just give a look of like, just stared her down, and she got up and moved. And then I went and did another machine that opened up. And then there was a last machine that was there. And I just gave a look of like pointing at the lights. Like, this is my time. Get up. And there was one girl there who I swear was just sitting down watching YouTube the entire time. Not working out. just watching YouTube.
I think you've gotten to that age where you're just a grumpy old man.
So Chris reaches out and says yes and no. So am I an a-hole? But if they see you working out in that area, they are the a-holes. Joe says that's odd, old man, get off my lawn type of behavior. Then why have that system there? Why have that system there? What they were doing belongs where the machines are. Okay, just because you're young and cute doesn't mean that you get your own area of the gym. Okay, because again, that was the 45-minute workout area. That wasn't the I'm young and cute and I don't want to be with the other dudes.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing. Midtown saying Mike punking out the moms at Planet Fitness. James Molina, Mike with Karen at Planet Fitness. And it was so funny because
Lord.
I didn't even have to say anything. I just stared them down and they got up and moved.
Hey, look at Jeff El Jefe. He's in the chat.
Locked on Spurs, Jeff Garcia. That's why Mike has to go work out with me. My gym does not play. And that is true. Dude, if that gym that he goes to, I actually really liked it. I really liked it. It's in the South Side.
It's a real gym.
It's a real gym, okay?
Yeah.
Like if you close your eyes, you would think that you're in a prison courtyard. It was a real gym.
Just missing the chain link fence.
Exactly. And the guards with the rifles, right? So,
oh God.
But I think that Jeff understands that I'm not the a-hole in here because Jeff also works at a Planet Fitness as well. Yeah. And I'm sure he's very aware of that 30 to 45-minute workout area. It is, there's a reason, a rhyme and a reason for it. It's to get in and get out with your workout. All the other machines are the other machines. You wait your turn. That is not a specified area for cute girls to go hang out at. And that's what I found out.
Their TikToks or something, man.
No, they were doing TikToks. They were doing their workouts, slow ass workouts, but they were doing their workouts. But it's one of those things where they see me doing box jumps. They see me doing leg lifts and all of these different things going on over there. They see that I'm actually doing the regimen that is what that area is for. So for me to go over and just give a look, like,
move,
eject, get out, and they scurried off.
Man.
Okay, it is what it is. But then again, Planet Fitness, which has those signs saying that we monitor this area to make sure that people are actually doing it.
No, they don't.
They don't do that, man.
No.
All they do is refill the big old bowl of Tootsie Rolls that they have out there. And what's up with Planet Fitness every once in a while having a pizza party? Have you ever noticed that? People work out, they bring out Papa John's. What kind of nonsense is this?
That's crazy, dude. You know what? I got to bring that, my rowing machine. In fact, I got to move some stuff around here so I can bring the rowing machine that I have down here so I can do my workouts before I do the show. So maybe you can get on the rowing machine. It's nice, bro.
I have a lot of workout equipment at home. I can't work out at home.
I love that rowing machine.
I need to be, and I don't mind rowing. Rowing is actually part of the system. And there's some things that you do good at and some things you do bad at. I don't mind rowing. D'Lo asking the question, do you still hoop at the gym? They don't call you MJ for nothing. I would love to go hoop, dude. I really would. I don't think I can do full court anymore, but if you were to say 3-on-3 or 5-on-5 half court, I could probably hold my own.
We're of a certain age already, man. I don't think any of us can really be doing full court anymore.
Sam Salinas reaching out and saying, Mike's looking to see if the ladies are looking. Because curls get the girls, baby. That's why.
As long as you're not wearing the shorts, dude.
No, I always wear basketball shorts, man.
Yeah.
I remember back in high school, my parents or my sisters would ask, why do you always wear basketball shorts? And the answer was always, in case a game breaks out, you know, because you never know, baby. Those were back in the days when the hoop was on the sidewalk, you know, and it faced the street. You'd have to trim the trees. That's the thing. Man. So I need to ask you, was I a jerk?
Kind of, man. Be honest with you, that's jerk behavior, Karen behavior. Just could have said, excuse me, I need to use this machine instead of just staring at him.
Yeah.
That's kind of creepy, bro.
I just hovered. No, I didn't hover. I just stood at the machine and kind of like folded my arms a little bit like, you done? I'm working here. I'm doing something.
I would have said, excuse me, let me use the machine, please, or something, you know.
Garrett reaches out from the Netherlands saying, I bet these ladies are working out for the 2025 Baddies contest. I like it. Let's talk about the baddies contest for a second here, because we might have a disqualification. And Joe, I'm going to let you be the judge of this. By the way, before we get into that, you know how we said that the top 2 of each pod would go on to the Sweet 16?
Yeah.
I did the math. We have 24 people.
That's a lot, dude.
Okay, so what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to have the top 8 get buys and then create pods again for those who are numbers 9 through 24. And the top 8 of those go to the Sweet 16. Okay. So Salma Hayek gets a buy into the Sweet 16 is basically what I'm saying, right? But last night we were doing the influencers and social media people, right?
So you put Sniper Wolf. I can't believe
I couldn't find anybody better.
Oh, bro.
She's beautiful. So we had a contest between, and when it comes to social media, what I mean by that is those who have millions of followers on Instagram, on TikTok, or whatever the case may be, YouTube. And Kendall Jenner was being one of them. I didn't realize Kendall Jenner was going to be so popular, but right now the voting's still going on. You can go on to @MJ Taste.
I'm looking at it right now.
And right now there's a tie for second in one of the pods between Allison Ray and Kendall Jenner, tied with 19% each. Running away with it right now with 50% is Paige Sporonic.
Is that any surprise?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all. But again, you can vote on this for another 10 hours or so. And then we're going to get down to the final 24, then ultimately the Sweet 16.
And what else do we have? We have another bracket.
By the way, Sam Slater saying I went full Luda on them. Move, bitch. Get out the way.
Get out the way.
Okay, so now on the other side of the bracket, we have 4 names that are very popular, except for one. I'm surprised Kristen Harper only got 2%, the worst showing of anybody. And if we had a party where all of these women showed up, the one person who would get the most looks might actually be Kristen Harper. People don't know who she is. She's the SI Swimsuit Edition cover model from a couple of years ago, Jared Goff's wife. I think she's the most attractive of the NFL wives. 2%. Shame on you. Y'all didn't look her up.
She's attractive, but she's no Yannick.
She's super nugget.
She ain't no Yannick.
She's super nugget. Olivia Culpo. So we had Jared Goff's wife going up against Christian McCaffrey's fiance, Olivia Culpo, with 14%. Livy Dunn, the gymnast from LSU, at 29%. She has a very big following on social media. But the controversy is around Yannick Garcia, who ran away with it, by the way. Her pod at 55%. Yannick Garcia has been around for a while. How old is she, man? Yannick Garcia has been around for quite some time, because I remember all of those Univision broadcasts that came out a long time ago. Yannick Garcia was born in 19. She's
33.
Only 33. So she must have been like 21 or 20 when she first came out. So she's running away with it with about 55% of the vote, right? She's going to win the pod. But we put rules out saying that they are automatically disqualified if they have an OnlyFans. But I wonder if there's a loophole for Yannick Garcia when it comes to this. Or do we just basically say that's the letter of the law? The loophole is this. She's not famous because of OnlyFans. She became famous and then got an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Right? Kind of like famously the actress Denise Richards, remember, from Wild Things back in the day?
I remember that, yeah.
I think she was with Charlie Sheen, if I'm not mistaken, for many years. She has an OnlyFans, right?
And her daughter, too. Weird.
Yeah. But Denise Richards is not famous because of OnlyFans. She got famous and then got an OnlyFans. So I need a ruling. Should Yannick Garcia be disqualified from the baddie brackets?
They're baddie brackets, bro. I mean, it's not like we're having an OnlyFans section. We're not doing that. And you put her in there because we're basing it based on her being a weather girl.
That's exactly why I did it.
From Univision.
Right.
And everybody remembers that from Univision. So in this instance, I'd say just leave her in.
Just leave her in. But man, she might make some noise in these brackets. Is she the hottest of the I was gonna say meteorologist, but let's be honest, they're not meteorologists. I don't think they can spell.
I don't even know what she's saying and tell me about the weather. We're not tuning in for the weather report. We just want to see her. But yeah, man, I mean, I'd leave her in.
Okay, so we're gonna leave her in. So we're going to take a look at what's there. I think that's the last of the brackets because we were going to have a TV one or a one for streaming services.
Yeah.
But I don't know who I would put on the streaming services because there aren't any TV stars anymore.
Yeah, not really.
Like, who would you put down as a TV star? Like, people would say Kat Dennings, right? Who I believe is remarkably hot. But Kat Dennings hasn't been on TV in a while.
The last thing she did was like WandaVision, from what I remember.
That's right.
You know, and that was like already talking about that. That's like a couple years ago when Disney Plus first started. If we look back on when Disney Plus first got started, that was like maybe 3 years ago?
Yeah,
maybe 4 years ago, something like that. Like, that's the last time I saw her on an actual series, streaming series.
Do you know who I thought was hot back in the day? And she was an older lady. I thought Patricia Heaton, the mom on Everybody Loves Raymond. I thought she was. Really? I thought she was a middle-aged nugget.
Oh man,
back in the day,
she's just like a typical mom,
She did it for me, dude. Oh, she did it for me.
You like the homely look?
No, she was not homely.
Well, in the show she was, but when she would go out in public, she dressed.
Oh up. Yeah,
she looked nice.
There was one episode of Everybody Loves Raymond where she wore a lingerie, and he wore these silk boxers because they were trying to see who could seduce the other. Classic episode. I used to love that show, man. You know what does it for me? Anthony Edwards, baby. Show my screen, please, because last night he had what is being called the dunk of the year. So we can show this real quick.
Not score. And only had one shot in that first half. Another turnover for Utah. Edwards gets it.
Boom!
Threw it down! And one from the rafters.
Courtesy of Bally Sports. Dude, Anthony Edwards. That was violent. That was a vicious throwdown over John Collins. Okay, so lots of things went on with this. First of all, this took place in Utah. So the crowd's getting excited for an opposing player, Anthony Edwards, who's a remarkable young talent.
You didn't see Kyle Anderson's reaction?
Oh, yeah, he had his hand over his head.
No, in the slow motion one, he's like, his face is like, oh.
Okay, so first of all, both players got hurt.
Yeah.
John Collins, who got dunked on, may have gotten a concussion.
Damn.
Meantime, Anthony Edwards dislocated his finger, had to go to the locker room and pop it out.
Oh, bro,
before coming back.
You could do that yourself. That happened to me one time when I was playing basketball. This finger actually was pointed this way, and I thought I jammed it, and I looked down, and I just like pulled on it, and it popped back in. I taped it up, and I finished the game.
Dude, that's scary, man. You know what I haven't had in a while because I referee high school basketball? I haven't had a jammed finger.
Oh, that shit
hurts,
they
used to always happen in high school. How was that a thing in high school, but not when you're in your 40s? I haven't had a jam finger. Oh, dude, I'm knock on wood. I haven't had a jam finger forever, man. But oh my God. Okay, so look at this dunk right. He takes off from about 13 feet away.
Jeez, bro.
But the thing is, why did he dislocate his finger? And why did John Collins get a possible concussion? Because he punched him in the face on the way up. I'm sorry, but isn't that an offensive foul?
Well, the Collins was moving.
No, well, you can't punch somebody in the face no matter if they're moving.
Yeah, I mean, but
you can move and draw a charge. Let me look at this one more time. The drawing a charge, you can be moving. You have to be in legal.
You have to be set.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
You do.
No, you don't. That's not how basketball works. It's a moving game.
The thing too is, he in the circle or outside the circle?
But in this respect right here, if you take a look at his left hand, he punches him.
He was kind of in and out. He was halfway in, halfway out.
But that doesn't matter.
Your brother was moving still, man. He was.
Dude, the moving is like that's the weirdest take that people have on sports. You move in sports, okay?
You do, but if you're gonna draw a charge, you're gonna draw a charge.
Not all charges are drawn by being set.
You have to be set. You
do not have to be set. You can be up in the air and draw a charge. If you jump straight up. And you also have the right to cover your face if they're coming at you.
No, he jumped, bro. That's not a charge.
So what if he jumped?
That's
not a thing.
It's not a charge.
That is not a thing.
That's a get out the way.
Okay, let me see here. He jumped. That's a foul, dude.
It's not.
He punched him in the face, man.
Oh, get out the way.
He punched him in the face.
Get out the way, brother. It's coming.
It's incredibly athletic, and there's maybe only 2 players in the NBA who can do this type of play. But my goodness, it was violent. It was violent. But yeah, let's go ahead and dispel the myth that you have to be set, not moving to get an offensive foul or a charge. You can be up in the air jumping. You can actually be falling backwards. You can be moving left. You can be moving to the right. Offensive foul is, are you in legal guarding position? And I think this player was. And then the fact of the matter is, even if you're inside the circle, if you get punched in the face on the way up, if you get punched in the face, that's an automatic foul. So you're saying that if you're in the circle, you can go kick somebody in the balls? No.
Draymond Green got away with it for years.
You can't do that. You can't do that. So, it's dicey at best, man. D'Lo reaches out and saying that he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan when it comes to athleticism. Then I want to say, ask Sean Elliott, man. Sean Elliott, dude, had ups, dude. He had ups. D'Lo saying like a young MJ. Shocking TR reaches out and says, not a foul. I'm not saying that it is a foul. What I'm saying is that if it had been called that way, I would have understood. And had it been called that way and challenged by the other team, it would have been held up. Because again, Anthony Edwards goes over there and punches the dude in the face. Punches the dude in the face. It was kind of, you know what this reminds me of? That guy that dunked on Wemby the other day, but pulled Wemby's arm down and then went over it. And like, oh, we dunked on Wemby, but he actually yanked Wemby's arm down.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. It's just done in a different manner. But again, no foul. So if no foul's being called, I'm okay with it. But if a foul had been called, I'd be okay with it being called a charge. But either way, not a lot of people can get up that high and dunk that way. And both got hurt.
True enough, man.
But again, why did he get a concussion? Was it his feet?
I think he got hit on the head with his knee.
It wasn't the knee, dude. It was a fist to the face, dude.
I don't know. It looks like the knee hit him.
One last look, because I don't think the knee gets him. And if the knee does get him, guess what that's called? That's called an offensive foul. So whether it's the fist or the knee, let's take a look here. Now that was the fist, dude. You
saw it from another angle. It looked like the knee hit him.
No, it didn't. It was a punch to the face, dude. The slow-mo, one last look at it as he comes in through the lane. Nah, knee never hit him. It was the punch to the face. And that's it, dude. I mean, and that's, he got away with it. But great dunk, man. So let's talk about
the year.
Let's talk about the Spurs, man, because Victor Wembanyama is one of the players that is currently up for consideration when it comes to Defensive Player of the Year. And right now, according to Vegas odds, he's in second place behind Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert has won this award multiple times in the past. And a lot of Spurs fans are thinking that Wemby has a legit chance. And if you have the second highest odds, I guess you can say that you have a legit chance. But on The Ringer, Bill Simmons, who formerly of ESPN, he was also formerly the head of Grantland, did all the 30 for 30, was the executive producer of 30 for 30 on ESPN, was talking to Ryan Russillo, formerly of ESPN as well. And the two oftentimes debate the NBA on The Ringer. And they were talking about Defensive Player of the Year. And when it came to Wemby's name, Bill Simmons just scoffed and said, yeah, I'm not even going to vote for him. Now, when you vote for Defensive Player of the Year, when you vote for MVP, you're not voting for one player. You're voting for them to either come in first, second, third, fourth, or fifth. And what they do is they tally up all these points. So it's possible to have fewer first place votes and still win if you have more second and third place votes than the other guy, because again, it is a point system. Now, famously, a while back, a few years ago, Jaren Jackson Jr. did very well in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. I believe he may have won, if I wasn't mistaken. And the thing about it is that was the same year that Bill Simmons left him off the ballot altogether. And Ryan Russillo is basically saying, look, man, he goes, with my vote, I'm going to vote for Wemby. Wemby causes so much chaos, causes so much devastation down low, gets all the blocks. Look at his stock, that stat of steals and blocks. What he does is remarkable down there.
Yeah.
And the team is different when he's out there. When he's out there, the Spurs are a pretty decent defensive team. but when he's out, they are awful. Bill Simmons comes out and says, well, I'm not going to vote for him because look at the Spurs record. The Spurs are now 15-53. And as a collective team unit, they're one of the worst teams in basketball when it comes to defense. Russillo comes back at him and says, is this an individual award or a team award? And that's where the debate happened. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr., again, was Defensive Player of the Year last season in 2023 and was first-team All-NBA defense in 2022 and 2023. Bill Simmons, who has a vote, left him off the ballot completely. And it sounds as though, even though he's a big fan of Victor Wembanyama, that he's going to leave Wemby off the ballot completely. He insinuated that. Now, Ryan Russillo brought up the point about the year that A-Rod won the MVP. It was a year in which he was on a losing team. And he asked the question, should an MVP in any sport like baseball or basketball or whatever come from a losing team? And Bill Simmons said, no. So Ryan Russillo threw out a hypothetical. He threw out a baseball hypothetical. He goes, what if some guy was on a losing team, but he had 100 home runs? And he goes, well, Bill Simmons was like, well, I mean, come on, man. If you have 100 home runs, you have to be the MVP. It doesn't matter what your team does. And that's where Russillo got him and said, yeah. So there is a line there by which a losing team can have a player win an award. Because you said it. And Simmons came back and goes, are you telling me that Wemby's having a 100 home run season defensively in the NBA? And Russillo went, yeah.
He affects the game when he's in it, especially from a defensive perspective, you know?
Yeah.
And I think what's going to happen with Wemby as he gets better and better, we're going to see maybe some rule changes go into effect because he is going to be that good. But you can already see it now. You know, when he's in there, instantly he makes the San Antonio Spurs better, even though the record doesn't dictate that. When he's on the court and off the court, the numbers don't lie, Mike.
Yeah, and this is going to be the thing that's detrimental towards Victor Wembanyama. As Mario Cavazos points out, Bill Simmons is still salty that the Spurs got Tim Duncan and not the Celtics because, again, the Celtics had 2 first-round draft picks back in, was it the 97, 98 draft?
Yeah.
And they ended up getting Tony Battie and Ron Mercer at 3 and 6 as opposed to Tim Duncan at number 1. The Celtics actually had the higher percentage. The Celtics also, Bill Simmons was told years later that the Celtics actually drafted Tony Parker and that they had the card and they'd even called Tony Parker to tell him, we're drafting you.
No.
And that it was the front brass of the Celtics that came up and said, ooh, we changed our mind. And Parker had to sit back down. Spurs got him at 29 a few picks later. So Parker and Duncan could have both have been Celtics.
But they passed.
Or one they lost and one they passed. But Garrett bringing out the point that Wemby is the second player to ever have 200 blocks and 100 3-pointers. I mean, it just what he's doing. But the thing is that the 3-pointers don't play a role in the Defensive Player of the Year. But the question becomes, what happens if he gets more first-place votes than Gobert, but then loses? This is kind of like the presidency. What happens if you get more votes like Hillary Clinton, but lose because Trump won the Electoral College?
Yeah.
Or when Gore and George W. Bush, you know, when that type of scenario happens. Wemby could actually get more first-place votes, but be left off tons of ballots because there are going to be sports writers out there who look at it and go, dude, the Spurs won less than 20 games this year.
Yeah, they're not good. They're not a good team. It has nothing to do with the team's overall record. Like you said, it's an individual award.
Yeah.
So you can't pick and choose. If it's an individual award, it's an individual award.
I understand both. I understand the logic of both.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's an individual award.
I think what's different, though, is that when you see the stats when Wemby's on the court and when he's not, dude, they're 2 different teams. Man.
Oh, yeah, man. No
I mean,
doubt.
with Wemby on the court, they can compete. They're not a good team.
They can't not win,
but they can compete. Yeah. But when he's off the court, they just ridiculously suck.
I mean, who do you got playing defense? Nobody.
Right. And Russillo was coming out and saying, I mean, I thought Russillo had Bill Simmons on the ropes because he came out and said, "So you're telling me that you're going to leave Wemby off the ballot for Rookie of the Year?" And Bill Simmons was like, "No, I'm going to vote for him for Rookie of the Year." And he goes, "Then you make no sense because that's an individual award. Chet Holmgren, Brandon Miller are all doing well as rookies on better teams.
Yeah,
or maybe not Brandon Miller. That team sucks too, but." Chet Holmgren's doing fine.
Yeah, especially with OKC.
Spurs back in action tonight against the Dallas Mavericks. Dallas Mavericks coming in 39-29, coming off one of the most dramatic victories in recent memory when they beat the Nuggets. I don't know if you saw that shot from Kyrie Irving. It was a left-handed skyhook from about 18 feet out to win the game.
It's crazy, dude.
So there's a girl on Spurs Twitter, a woman on Spurs Twitter named Bushby. I think she goes by Zed's Dead.
She's our friend.
Yeah. She posted something on Twitter yesterday that I thought was interesting. She said that she is kind of, I don't know, like surprised at all the hate that Kyrie Irving gets, and that Kyrie Irving doesn't get the respect that he should get.
Kyrie did that to himself because of the stupidity that comes out of his mouth. You can think those things and you can believe whatever you want, but when you have that NBA stage and whatever you say is amplified, he's made a lot of enemies because of what he says, not because of who he is, but because of what he said.
Right. So the stance that he had against COVID was one of the things. But my goodness, man, when he won that title with LeBron,
that was good.
That was more Kyrie than it was LeBron in my eyes. It's funny when you go to Spurs games, and you and I have been going to Spurs games our entire lives, right?
Yeah.
From the Hemisphere Arena over to the Alamo Dome, over to the AT&T, now Frostbank Center, and hopefully soon to a stadium downtown. If you were to come back and say, who are the players that you watched play in person that were so good, not that they had a good game, but that you just watched them play and you're like, my God, you are better than what most people think. You are on a different level. One of those players for me is Kyrie Irving. I've seen Kyrie Irving play pretty up close, maybe not fifth row, but lower bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this guy going, this guy should be one of the 5 best of all time. Why isn't he always this good? Because he is so good sometimes. I would say that like my list of players that I've seen play in person over the years, that I'm just surprised at how good they are. Not I'm surprised because they're all-stars, right? But you just see them play and you see how smart they are. Kyrie Irving is super smart, man. His basketball IQ is through the roof. Now, is he a good teammate? That's a different story. But when he's on the court and he's feeling it, he's feeling it. Luka Doncic, dude. He's playing a different game.
Yeah.
I mean, he's making everybody look like they're playing checkers while he's playing chess.
He just needs to believe more in his team.
Yeah. And that's maybe his downfall right there. I've seen players in the past. Most recently, I was in Philadelphia a couple of years ago. I saw Joel Embiid play in person. He was playing against Giannis. They played against each other.
Yeah.
And I was more impressed with Embiid than I was with Giannis. Giannis was a bull in a china shop type of thing. He was just running through people, whereas Embiid seemed to be a little bit more finesse, a little bit more had a little bit more skill. But then back in the day, Kevin Johnson from the Suns was somebody. Gary Payton.
I'll tell you who I saw personally, and I was like, who the fuck is this kid? It was a Spurs game that I was watching. I believe it was at the Alamo Dome, and the Kings came to town.
Yeah.
And they had a player on their roster called Jason Williams.
No,
White chocolate.
White chocolate.
Man, that motherfucker could ball, bro. I saw him.
Couldn't shoot to save his life, but man, he was a great passer.
Hell of a passer, dude. I saw him on the court. I was like, who the hell is this kid, man? Because damn, he can ball.
Someone's asking the question, is Luka playing tonight? Luka's been battling some nagging injuries, though he's averaging 34 points per game. I haven't seen the injury report yet, but I do know that right now the Mavericks are favored by 8.5 points. The over-under set at 234.5. Wemby coming in averaging 21 and 10.5 boards.
It'll be a close game, but ultimately I I would assume that the Mavericks would run away with it.
Dude, if Luka's playing, it's game over, dude. Spurs have no chance against Luka.
Oh, come on.
Sochan has no chance of stopping Luka. Not one. He did it once. Last year, there was one game where Sochan got under the skin of Luka Doncic, pissed him off, right? It was one game. And then after that, Luka's just destroyed him every time since. And that's no shade on Sochan, because Luka does that to everybody.
Yeah.
Luka is arguably one of the 3 best players in all the NBA. That guy can play, man.
Yeah,
that guy can play.
I gotta tell CT she's gonna join us or not.
You know what? Before we go to CT, though, let's go ahead and get that video in, because March Madness begins tomorrow when it comes to play-in games. I'll be in Vegas on Thursday doing part of the show over there in Vegas. You got to wake me up, though, because it'll be 8 a.m. over there, and I'm going to be hung over, but I'm going to be over there. But you were talking to somebody about March Madness, and tell us about your guy.
Yeah, man. So yesterday we were talking about some prospects. Well, actually, my boy was Benjamin Bornstein. So you can go ahead and follow him at the Boomstein on the X. But he's our college basketball analyst. So I'll go ahead and play a quick excerpt. It was a couple minutes, like 5 minutes.
Yeah,
talking about prospects. So here we go. Let's start the intro.
Let's do it, baby.
You're going to go ahead and let us know about some prospects we need to keep our eye on. What do you got for us?
Yes, I got the big names for you on this one. I brought out the big guns. Tyler Kolek out of Marquette, probably a second-round guy, maybe a two-way guy, but I happen to think he's an excellent point guard, incredibly efficient from the floor, 7.5 assists a game, just about. He's 6'3", good size, not super explosive, not super athletic, but plays the game very well. Very good facilitator. I mean, if you're the Spurs, might be a guy worth taking a flyer on. If Trey Jones gets offers, or if you've got to move Trey Jones for some reason, not a bad replacement. 4-year starter kind of guy. Last 2 years at Marquette, Power 6 conference. Very good player. Very solid player. Guy who has been just unbelievable this season. He's had, I think, several 40 burgers throughout the season. Dalton Connect out of Tennessee transferred up a level, up like 5 levels. He was at Northern Colorado, transferred to Tennessee. He has been their offense for a vast majority of the year. He's shooting almost 40% from 3 on very real volume, high volume. 46.5% from the field on 15 shot attempts a game. We're talking, just having to take all kinds of shots, difficult shots. He's got to create for himself a lot. Does it more often than not. Actually, a pretty good athlete. Has had some really nasty dunks this year. Really fun to watch. I'm keeping it in the SEC for these next 2 guys. Reed Shepherd out of Kentucky, a guy I really like. Very solid guard, shoots the ball very well, incredibly efficient, probably the most impactful freshman in college basketball, certainly the SEC, if not college basketball. So very fun to watch, just makes good decisions, makes great reads, good passer, shoots it when he needs to, doesn't force anything. He plays like a 4-year veteran in college, which is great because he's a freshman. So you have the benefit of plays like a 4-year guy, age of a freshman. If you're a scout, you have to love that. His teammate in the backcourt, Rob Dillingham. He's the more explosive of the 2, excellent athlete. Has also been a pretty solid shooter this year. Very good player. He's not going to dish out passes and assists like Reed Shepherd does, but he does solidly enough. He's a good athlete. He can rebound the ball pretty well at his position. He's got really good hands. He's averaged over a steal a game this season. He's got an opportunity to solidify himself as a top 5 draft pick, assuming Kentucky makes it to the second weekend of March Madness. And I'll say this, I got one last guy you should keep an eye on. Another Power 5 confidence guy, but those are the guys who usually end up going at the top of this draft, especially in a year where a lot of dudes are coming out of the G League. There are quite a few guys coming from overseas. So this is one of the few guys. Well, I shouldn't say few, but one of the other guys who will be available from the collegiate ranks. Kyle Filipowski is a sophomore. He's shown a lot of improvement. It's actually a little funny. He's shown great improvement in his shooting from three and from the field, but he's struggled at the free throw line. He's shooting sub 70% right now, which is very odd because he has a pretty decent looking stroke. And a lot of times Duke's offense runs through him. Whether it's they post him up or he's swinging in at the top, or he's got dribble handoffs with guys, into screens to free them up. He's kind of the big cog of Duke's offense, and Duke will probably go as far as he goes, and maybe as far as Jared McCain can take them, their point guard. He's another guy you should watch for. I think he's kind of late lottery, mid first round guy right now. But those are the guys that everybody should be watching. Assuming some more, we're gonna be on here again. I'm gonna be talking about guys who are in the Sweet 16, Elite 8, ideally Final Four after that. So there's gonna be plenty of prospect talk, plenty of prospect watching, and just game watching. Let's be honest, we're all degenerates when it comes to March Madness. We're watching all the games, 4-screen experience or bust. That's where we live.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of tourney talk when we start getting down to the Sweet 16, get down to the Final Four, that kind of thing. That way you can go ahead and give us some of your insight and who do you think is going to be moving on. So that's going to be fun. It's right around the corner. I know this is going to be a hectic week for you. So thank you for giving us some of your time and letting us know some of these college, should I say, prospects we need to keep an eye on. So Ben, where can they follow you on social media?
So you can find me on Twitter, X, you want to call it, at @V_Boomstein, and I'm writing for ProjectSpurs.com, so you can find a lot of my work there.
All right. Well, thanks, Ben. We appreciate you, like I said. So that's all the time we have for this segment. Until next time, make sure you go and check out my boy Ben. We're out. Peace. So there was my boy Benjamin Bornstein. He's our college basketball expert, our analyst here. He has a lot of good insight, man, when it comes to the game.
I find it interesting that how in depth people go when it comes to certain players, and he mentions Reed Shepherd and players like that. It's going to be fascinating to see how these players do when the spotlight is on.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, though, I'd much rather watch the women's game this year, man. The women's game has more drama, man.
Yeah.
But we've got a special guest. It is Tuesday. You know what that means? It is Tuesdays with Teague. Carolina Teague, how you doing today, girl?
Tuesdays with tired, Teague. I'm tired than the mother effer.
You dragging ass like me today,
man. Did you wear a bra today?
No, I'm not wearing a bra.
Oh God,
we were joking about that.
I know. I didn't have time to put one on. But yeah, no bra. I was like, I'm wearing a black shirt, so y'all can't really see that. But I've been busy with work. So it's just like I have no time to get dressed. So y'all, this is the best y'all are gonna get, and I'm so sorry.
She told me before. She's like, I'm a hot mess.
I am a hot mess.
So, CT, we're talking a lot about various things going on, right? So, one of the things we were talking about was Victor Wembanyama and whether or not he should be considered for Defensive Player of the Year. Currently, Vegas has him with the second best odds. We debated it back and forth a little bit earlier, but wanted to get your input on this because Bill Simmons of the Ringer says that he might not even have Wemby on his ballot at all for the top 5 because he says the team sucks. And that team defensive-wise, he's not feeling it. Ryan Russillo, who was on the podcast with him, is saying, wait a minute. It's an individual award.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying, are you going to vote for him for Rookie of the Year? And Simmons was like, yeah. And he goes, well, then what's the point? These are individual awards. What are your thoughts on some voters who might consider keeping him off the ballot altogether?
It makes no sense. He's in the running to be, in my opinion, top 2 in Defensive Player of the Year. So to judge him based off of the fact that the Spurs are 28th in defense in the season, to me is ridiculous because it's not a team accolade. It's not Defensive Team of the Year. It's Defensive Player of the Year. So I do feel like if you are looking at the team as a whole in regards to defense to make your decision on whether or not he should be Defensive Player of the Year, then you are really not using the right metrics in order to gauge who should be Defensive Player of the Year because you're calculating your assessment based off of a team performance. So it's unfair to people, for me, when you look at people who are taking that into accountability. It does give people like Rudy Gobert a slight edge because the Wolves have the number 1 defense and he's in the top 2 personally for me, but it's just an unfair advantage for other players simply because their team is a lot better on defense. And not to mention, if you compare the stats to Victor Wembanyama and Rudy Gobert, Victor Wembanyama averaged about 28 minutes a game. Pop had him on a minutes restriction for the majority of the season. And with that minutes restriction, he's still best Rudy Gobert in blocks and steals. And we've seen the games throughout the entire season. Wemby can block. Wemby can get a steal. So just that average, and then Rudy Gobert has the edge on him with defensive rebounds. For me, it's like, okay, why is Wemby not in your mind as top 5 in the league? So it's kind of unfair, and I don't like it.
Yeah, Bill Simmons, I mean, to his, I don't want to say his defense, but he did say that Wemby has been turning it up the last couple of months. He believes that Gobert has been doing well defensively for the longest time. But welcome back, Carolina Teague, and thank you for going to my birthday party the other night, showing up like a knockout in orange. I mean, the music literally stopped when you walked in the door, and then you follow it up with a green dress at RCW. How are things at RCW the other day?
Oh my God, they were so much fun. Lots of fun, and I'm so glad I went to your birthday party. I was surprised you remembered that I showed up. But you were pretty you told me 6 times the same exact thing. Which is okay. It's your birthday. So.
My personal favorite before you got there, CT, is Mike was telling our other friends, he's like, yeah, Joe's coming with CT. I'm like, bro, I'm already here. I was outside with Joe.
I'm already here. I know he meant to say things where I'm like, oh, what are you talking about? And then like he was telling me stuff I don't want to say, but he was like telling me things, and I was like, you just told me that, Jimenez. Like I was like, let's, happy birthday, And then I tried to get you a Snake Eyes tequila shot. I bought you a Don Julio tequila shot, and I wanted it to be the Snake Eye shot because it had cinnamon and orange. It's supposed to like go down really smoothly, and it's really good. But they didn't have cinnamon, so I just made you bite into the orange and take the tequila shot. So
yeah,
fun
I don't
times.
remember any of that, but what I do remember, and this is how you know it was a party. I remember waking up in the Uber when they said, "Sir, you're home."
Oh, thank God you said.
Yeah, I was like, you guys need to make sure this man gets into a freaking Uber.
Oh, I did before.
And we were dancing. We were dancing to Cardi B. It was fun.
Oh God, I asked you before I left. I said, "You got a ride home? You're good?" Because I didn't know if you needed an Uber or what. You're like, "No, I called it. I got an Uber. I'm good." I had to make sure my boy was gonna get home safe.
And that has been the growing up process of me recently. Is relying on the Uber. I'm not as young as I used to be, and I got more to lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
More to lose.
Definitely. Yeah, and then also like it's your birthday. You have as much fun as you want. Like no judgment on my end. I had so much fun. To me, like you've been so supportive of my career. So I definitely wouldn't miss out on your birthday for anything. I know I showed up late, but it's because I had a lot of obligations that I had to tend to. But if it like I wouldn't miss your birthday for the world. And it's like to see you happy, having a good time with all your friends, it made me really happy. So it was a good birthday.
I appreciate that. Mario Cavazos reaches out to us on our YouTube stream, has a question. Is it safe to say that if Jeremy Sohan has a ceiling that equals that of Bruce Bowen, that it's been a successful pick? Okay, if you're to say that he's going to be Bruce Bowen, then I think it would be. But I don't know, man. We debated this yesterday, Joe. Joe and I, at the end of the game, at the end of the podcast yesterday, debated this. Sohan has one great game, one good game, 2 bad games, repeat.
Mm-hmm.
He's the most inconsistent player. So when you watch Sohan, do you see him more for the optimistic side of, man, he could blow up this game? Or do you see him as, man, this is just another inconsistent player? Because, and while you think about that, I want us to have this conversation because we briefly touched on this yesterday, Joe. If Wemby played, there's 30 teams in the NBA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wemby played on all 30 teams, he would be starting for all 30 teams, right?
Yeah.
Right? Whether it be center, forward, small forward, Wemby would start for all 30 teams. How many teams would Julian Champagnie start for? I say 0.
None. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's our starting small forward for some reason. Let's go to Sohan. How many teams would Sohan start for? Do you think?
I don't know.
Like the high end.
I think I would. I don't know. I would have to gauge who truly needs a defender. I don't know. I would say the majority of them.
I'd say he'd start for 6, maybe 8.
I think ones that really need defense, yes, but I haven't
bad teams
really looked at as far as like defensive bad teams, like 6, maybe 8. But
and
I mean,
Trey Jones is another one. He'd start for maybe 6 teams.
Oh, he'd be man. He would definitely be coming off the bench.
Yeah,
that second unit. Yeah,
and that's why I'm looking forward to this offseason, man. Just blow the team up, dude.
They ain't gonna do nothing.
They like the team they have. I feel like the question was, would he have a career like Bruce? If he has a career like Bruce Bowen, is it a win? I think so.
Yeah.
Because Bruce Bowen was a great defender. And they selected Sohan at number 9. And you got to look at the way he came into the league. The Spurs had Primo on the team. He was supposed to be the prime person to start leading the team. And then that kind of made them take a step back, and then they had to get Wemby into the mix. Then they had to learn how to run an defense with Wemby, a whole new system in a sense without Josh Primo. So for me, it's like he had to relearn something new. And if he develops into somebody who's a great defensive player, such as a Bruce Bowen with Wemby on the team, then yeah, absolutely. I think that would be a good way to end your career. But for me, as far as like, right now, can we assess that? Not really, because look at all the changes that have occurred in the past 2 seasons, and he's still relatively young, so it's hard to make that determination.
Now, speaking of Bruce Bowen, did you see the little controversy? I'm surprised a lot of Spurs fans didn't pick up on this very much last few days, but Bruce Bowen was on ESPN, and he was asked to rank his top 10 players of all time in the NBA. And he ranked Kobe Bryant over Tim Duncan.
Okay.
He played with Tim Duncan. He played against Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
How dare he give that ammunition to Lakers fans?
Well, I mean, this is his opinion, and he is an NBA player, and he went up against both Kobe Bryant and he played with Tim Duncan. Perhaps he saw things and felt things playing against the Lakers that he witnessed, that he would say, okay, I would put Kobe over Tim. So is it really blasphemous because he put Kobe over Tim? Not really. A lot of people have Kobe over Tim on the list. And I feel like when you have these lists, you should be honest and you shouldn't be biased simply because you played on a team. Like Scotty always puts LeBron over Jordan. Everybody gets upset with him, and it's ridiculous. Like I'm a Bulls fan in the 90s, so I do get upset. So I understand why you get upset. But at the end of the day, it's their list. And at the end of the day, he played against both of those players, so he can make that assessment. If he's being honest, he's being honest.
It's just painful to see, dude. It's painful to see because I don't even consider Kobe to be top 5. I mean, I don't think Kobe is top 5. I don't even think Kobe is top 10.
That's damn.
In the NBA? Like of all time?
And if he is 10, he's around 8 or 9 or 10.
Wow.
He's not top 7. Okay, because Michael Jordan, better than Kobe. Bill Russell, better than Kobe. Tim Duncan, better than Kobe. You can keep going on to Magic Johnson, better than Kobe. LeBron James, longer career than Kobe. Is he better than Kobe? Yeah, he is. I can go on further down the list with Wilt Chamberlain, better than Kobe. Kobe's 8 or 9, 10. Maybe not even that, because I would even put Steph Curry into this conversation as well. So
you would put Steph Curry over Kobe Bryant?
Yes. Yes.
Why?
Yes.
Why? No, I need to know why. Because yes, he's one of the okay. greatest shooter of all time, understandably so, but Kobe Bryant made everybody better around him, and he has the rings to back it up. And he went up against the San Antonio Spurs, one of a dynasty team that you follow, and was able to.
I'll flip that on you. Tim Duncan went up against the Heatles, went against dominated with 5 rings with Shaq and Kobe there, with Kobe and Gasol, with the Miami Heat, all of that, and Duncan got 5 rings and should have had 8 when it was all said and done. And Kobe is I hate to say it this way, I love Kobe Bryant, the person that was very motivating. Slightly overrated, dude. No. Slightly overrated. He played in LA. If Kobe Bryant played for the Detroit Pistons, he would not be as glamorous as he is now. It's because he played in LA. That's the reason why he is admired as much as he is. He played for a small market team, he wouldn't even be considered top 10. It's because he played in LA.
I think you sound absolutely crazy right now. I think I've heard some crazy stuff, but this is like,
I think he's still drunk off
creme de la creme, craziest things you've ever. For me, it doesn't matter if or what or how or when or hypothetical situations or what you put them in. One of the reasons why is because he, of course, played with Phil Jackson as a head coach, but also do you not also consider that at the time Kobe and Shaq were both elite, and then you had Tim Duncan, who is the greatest greatest power forward of all time, greatest power forward of all time. Don't you think that that also the fact that they were neck and neck, you don't take that into accountability? Even Kobe said if Tim Duncan and the Spurs weren't there, we would have had more rings because they were so damn good. But you don't even consider that at that time you had 2 goats going up against each other.
Larry Bird was better than Kobe Bryant.
But did you
there's another player? To say that Kobe Bryant's not a top 10 player of all time is not out of left field. That's not making me stupid, because I look at it, and you can make, if you want to make an argument that Kobe is a top 10 player, you can make that argument. But I can make just as strong of an argument to say that he's not. Dude, Kobe Bryant isn't even, to say that Kobe Bryant is the greatest Laker of all time is sacrilegious, because
he has a statue. What do you mean?
The greatest player of all time.
They didn't put that there because he was a scrub.
He's not even a top 3 Laker of all time.
No.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Shaq. Dude, Kobe Bryant is overrated, and it's tragic what happened, and it broke my heart when it happened January of 5 or 6 years ago when he passed away. The fantasy, the aura that he has, it just it throws me off.
He had 5 rings in the Tim Duncan era.
Magic Johnson had it in the Larry Bird era. He had it in the Bad Boys era. He had it in the Michael Jordan era. I mean, there's always eras out there. There's always eras out there. So Kareem, Jordan, Russell, Duncan, Bird, all better than Kobe. Now, I'm not saying Kobe Bryant. I'm not saying Kobe.
Sorry.
I'm not saying Kobe isn't top 15. Probably is. But to say that Kobe Bryant's the second best player of all time, get the F out of here. Not even close. That makes him the greatest Laker of all time. And that's not even remotely true. Magic. Dude. Drew Show with a super chat coming in.
I'm seriously thinking you're trolling right now. I never thought you were a troll up until this particular moment. No. I just need more evidence. This is somebody who is an 18-time All-Star, a 2-time scoring champ, had 5 rings in the Tim Duncan era, and you don't see how this person can be within the top 5 of some people's lists?
No, I don't even see him. Okay, first of all, Bowen having him at 2 is ridiculous. That is outright ridiculous. Now, if you want to say top 5, that's because you're a fan. But actual there, because here's the other part of Kobe Bryant. The other part of Kobe Bryant was he left that team in shambles and he played like trash last 6 seasons of his career and had one good game to end his career. That's basically it. Magic Johnson is a greater player than Kobe Bryant. Larry Bird was a better player than Kobe Bryant.
Oh, my.
Michael Jordan was a better player. Bill Russell was. Wilt Chamberlain was. Tim Duncan was. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. Dude, that's 7. And I will say that if you want to put Kobe at 8, fine. Steph Curry, I would even put above Kobe Bryant.
You're gonna die on that hill, Mike.
Dude. I like, and don't get me wrong, Steph Curry is like one of the like greatest shooter. If not, I'm like, arguably, Steph Curry is the greatest shooter of all time. That is very true. But besides that, like, this dude has the numbers and the accolades to back him up. Like, you're talking about somebody who, like I said, I just can't get how you can't get past the fact that he was able to get 5 rings in the Tim Duncan era doesn't even put him on a different list. If you think Tim Duncan is like in your personal top 5 of all time, and he was able to get 5 rings in that same time frame, how do you not value him over somebody like a Larry Bird? And just to be fair, I don't know how old you are, but can you actually assess like what Larry Bird did at that time? Because I know that I can't, because I didn't watch that era with Bill Russell and Larry Bird. And if you can, and people can make that argument that the talent at the time wasn't as elite as it was in the 2000s when there was more people in the league that were way more talented. But that argument is as old as time. And I like to judge people off of era. But for me, it's like, I can't see how you can't get past the fact that he was able, like, if anything, to be able to go up against one of the greatest players of all time, Tim Duncan, and get 5 rings like you. That is not an easy accomplishment to do.
So Hoops Hype, the website, has their list of the top 10 players of all time. They have at number 1, Michael Jordan.
Of course.
I will say this. They will upset Spurs fans because they have Tim Duncan at 10. LeBron James at number 2. Number 3, they have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the greatest Laker of all time. Number 4, they have Magic Johnson. Number 5, Bill Russell. Number 6, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 7, Hoops Hype has Larry Bird. Number 8, they have Kobe Bryant. Number 9, they have Shaq. And 10, they have Duncan. And I'll go through the final the top 20. 11, they have Hakeem. 12, Kevin Durant. 13, Steph Curry. 14, Oscar Robertson. 15, Karl Malone. 16, Moses Malone. 17, Kevin Garnett. 18, Jerry West. 19, Dirk Nowitzki. And number 20, Dr. J.
Well, check this out. I'm looking at Bleacher Report. They did an article in 2019, right?
Yeah.
It says by the numbers where Kobe Bryant ranks among MJ, Shaq, and other NBA greats. So you go down the list and they're listing all the greats, some big names. They have Kobe Bryant at number 14. Then you go down, Steph Curry, 13. All right. James Harden, they got him at 12. I mean, this is a skewed list here. James Harden, bro, come on.
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
I'm like, this article here from Bleacher Report is quite dated, bro. I'm just like looking at it. I'm like, if Mike wants to substantiate his claims, you'd be looking for old articles like this. But
I showed you an article from 2013.
No, I know that, man. But I'm like,
the thing is, though, like, I think what sets him apart, and I know this is not a statistic, but it's his heart too. Like, he's a clutch player. He was able.
It's because of the scowl, dude. It's all marketing. USA Today came out.
No, it's not. It's not all It is not all marketing. I would understand if he didn't have rings or anything like that. But this is like somebody who won gold medals in the Olympics. This is somebody who won 5 rings. This is somebody who's a 2-time scoring champ. This is somebody who surpassed Michael Jordan in all-time scoring. This is somebody who scored 41 points on his final game ever. This is somebody who is a Hall of Famer. Like, I don't. And then they put LeBron. Like LeBron too. Like, what?
Look what he says. Midtown Texas puts Mike rates players by how long their shorts were.
Okay, USA Today listed their top 75 players of all time. They have Kobe Bryant at 8. Again, for me to say that he's not top 5,
is LeBron clutch? Who's more clutch? Is it Kobe or is it LeBron? Let's be real. It's Kobe. Who was more clutch?
The greater player is LeBron James between the two.
But how many times did LeBron go to the finals and not win?
And exactly. And how many rings does LeBron have? How many times? Who's more of a higher clutch percentage player? Who, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are these things even not considered?
Well, it's funny because you make those arguments and then you go say, okay, well, then number one's Bill Russell, right? Because if we're counting rings, I mean, you can't use the argument for one.
I'm not just counting rings, though. But I'm not just counting rings, but I do think that you have an advantage if you have more rings, because that also shows that you can also be more clutch in these situations. Like if you go to the finals 9 times and you only win 4 times, are you clutch?
That's like the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl. How many times they lose?
Kobe Bryant, the second best player of all time in the NBA. Get the F out of here, Bruce Bowen. Take down his jersey from that. I would take it down from the rafters in the Frost Bank Center. Not anymore. Okay, real fast before we let you go, because we got to wrap up the show real quick. The baddie brackets. I did math wrong, which is sad because I do finance for a living, right?
Oh, man.
I was trying to get down to the Sweet 16, and I was going to have 8 brackets, right? Eight different types of baddies to go after. And it didn't get me down to 16. What it's getting us down is to 32. So right now we're actually down to 28, right? We have 28 out there. So I'm going to stop doing the polls for right now and kind of sort this out. But I have a list of the 28 people who advanced in the baddie brackets. And thank you, Carolina Teague, for voting in it. Again, some people have given us crap about it, but you know what? Guys like looking at girls. It just is what it is. And girls enjoy the beauty of women. So that's fine. But I was looking at the 28 who advanced, right? And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to give the top 8 a bye into the Sweet 16 and have the other 20 battle it out. Out of the 28 that advanced, so we had 56 names out there. Oh, we have to do 64 because I promised 64. But right now, the highest vote getter as of right now in their pod was Salma Hayek, 58%. Yannick Garcia was the second one at 55%. Now, here's the thing, CT. We need a ruling on this. We were asking people this question because we had rules about this, that no OnlyFans models could get into our baddie brackets. But Yannick Garcia, people reminded me on Twitter that she has an OnlyFans, but she didn't become famous because of OnlyFans. She was famous for over a decade and then got an OnlyFans. Should we kick her out?
I mean, the rules are the rules. You know what I'm saying? the rules are the rules. If you can't have an OnlyFans, you have an Only because like y'all also said too, like we're not going off of how they looked back then. We're going off of how they look now. So then, if you can make those if you have to do those rules, then if you don't have an OnlyFans then, but you have an OnlyFans now, then shouldn't the same rules apply? She has an OnlyFans now, so she needs to be kicked out. And honestly, like my vote for number 1 out of everybody is Salma Hayek. Like I don't even have to see the whole other list, but like Salma's gonna be my number 1 because I was actually on her Instagram last night looking at her pictures, thinking, God damn, she's so damn beautiful. So like if I'm a woman not going to her picture to like thirst over Salma Hayek, she's gonna be my number 1.
Here are the eight baddies that are getting a bye so far. Salma Hayek, who got 58% of her pod vote. Yannick Garcia, if we keep her, 55% of her vote. Tiffany Amber Thiessen, she won the 50 bracket. Actually, no, she won the old school hottie bracket. 52%. Paige Sporonic at 51%. Trish Stratus at 51% won the wrestling brackets. Shakira, 49%. AT&T Lily at 47%. And the final buy as of right now is Dua Lipa at 46%. On the outside, Sydney Sweeney, Jenna Ortega, Jessica Alba, J-Lo, Scarlett Johansson. They're going to have to battle it out another round to get into the Sweet 16 if they, in fact, are going to get into the Sweet 16. Now, the ones that got the lowest votes that managed to advance, Sofia Vergara with just 17% of the vote somehow managed to survive. Kendall Jenner with 19% of the vote managed to survive. And Rihanna with 23%. Also, Tiffany Stratton with 23%. I'm telling you, man. Telling you, it's going to get down to the nitty gritty. Your number 1 overall seed is Shakira. Who's your number 1 overall seed right now?
Salma Hayek, man.
Mine's
For me,
Shakira.
it's Salma Hayek.
Mine's Shakira. I think Shakira, when it comes down to it, Final Four between Shakira and Salma Hayek, I think Shakira wins.
Hey, man. Shakira, that booty shake, it hits different, bro.
I do. But she can dance. Like, and it's actually really tough. But for me, it's Salma Hayek because, like, her body is just fire, even to this day.
We were surprised. I was surprised that Scarlett Johansson did so well. Like, Scarlett Johansson.
No, a lot of people, she has, like, a cult crush following.
But she did very, 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 very well. But I can see Sofia Vergara, Kendall Jenner, Rihanna. Now, Rihanna, if this was 10 years ago, Rihanna would be a 1 seed. I mean, Rihanna is the one person that I've seen in person that is the most beautiful woman I've ever seen, and I've been 10 feet away from. She is stunning. Mm-hmm. That girl, that's not like, oh man, she's hot. You look at her, she's a work of art. She's amazing. But we'll figure out what we're gonna do. So I do need to put out 8 more names. I'm regretting this because this is going to get down to 32. This might last longer than I thought.
Yeah, that's 64 is a lot. You should just do like 16.
Daddy bracket. We have to debate.
I know that's a huge. Yeah, it's a huge responsibility.
Other names that advance, by the way, Ana de Armas is advancing. Anna Kendrick, Aubrey Plaza, Gal Gadot, Selena Gomez, Livy Dunn. Jennifer Aniston, Hilary Duff, Lacey Chabert. Those are it almost as though, Joe, you've said this before, San Antonio guys have a type.
You know it.
Tim says I'm his overall number 1 seed. Not today, babe. Like today, I'm not on that
list. What's that?
Tim says I'm his number 1 overall seed. I'm like, not today. Not today. Take me off the list.
But the orange and green dress. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. I love the dresses. I do have to wrap up out of here, but I want to say, when is the next bracket coming out?
I'll probably release it out tonight in order for us to get down to 32 before I go to Vegas. I'm leaving for Vegas Wednesday night, which is tomorrow night. Oh my God. Yeah. I'll be in Vegas tomorrow night.
Wow, man.
What is so what are the topics or what are the categories do you have them yet or not yet?
Well, for the last bracket, for the baddie brackets, we were thinking about TV stars or do you know what I mean? I don't want to do no, we'll do TV stars. We have to keep it entertainment. I don't want it to be like journalists or stuff like that, because it'd be all the hotties from Fox News Channel. I mean, they're all psychotic. But they hot. They all look alike. Psychotic. They all look hot though.
Crazy.
Maybe we'll put politicians up there. AOC against.
Politicians. That would be good.
Lauren Boebert.
Somebody from the Current's gonna see this and they're gonna be Mike calls female journalist from Fox 29 psychotic. I'll be like,
I'll say Fox News Channel, as in channel 60 on Time Warner.
Okay, we'll be specific, man.
That's what I'm saying. No, it can't be the local ones because I know all of the local ones, and that would be a little bit odd. It'd be like, half of them I have their number on my phone. Then we're not going to do that, okay? But my goodness, man. The Drew Show says Joe, you should have sold squares to Mike Creeper's brackets contest, made some money. You know what? But people still vote on it, though. I mean, I don't know what to say. People are still voting on them.
They are.
They're like, it's creepy, but let me go ahead and pick a name.
I know. We got to say bye to CT. I know you got to go.
Well, we got to say bye to everybody. CT, have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Back in action tonight against the Mavericks. We'll see if Luka plays, and if Luka does play, the Spurs are not going to win.
Before we go, though, one thing that we got to do is we got to give some love to our people. Locked On Spurs is your daily Spurs podcast, hosted by Jeff Garcia, the lead Spurs writer for Ken's 5 San Antonio. Jeff has a healthy plethora of guests all the time on the Locked On Spurs podcast. You can also follow Jeff on Threads at JeffG10s5SA. You can also follow Jeff on Twitter at JeffGSpursZone. So make sure you go ahead and give Jeff a follow not only on Threads and Twitter, but also on YouTube at youtube.com/@LockedOnSpurs. This is where you're going to be able to find the replay of the Locked On Spurs podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right. So it's about all the time we got, Mike.
Yeah, Jeff G. Spurs. And don't forget to subscribe again on YouTube and on Spotify for Locked On Spurs. Today, he has Rudy Campos Jr.
Nice.
The league on today, asking the question, what should the Spurs focus be on the remaining games? So check that out when you get a chance. And he's also has an article on Ken's 5 right now talking about Jeremy Sohan near an agreement to play for Team Poland this summer. Also has a takeaway on March Madness players that Spurs fans should watch. So again, Jeff Garcia, Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter or on Threads as well. Everyone have a fantastic day. My name is Mike Jimenez. It's Joe Garcia. Thank you, Carolina Teague, for being on. And thank you to all the people who were on the chat today. Hit the like button on the way out. Y'all take care.